Oh yeah, this is CopyWho, and I am your host, Paul the producer. Peasy. That's what I'm doing now. It's so lame. I understand. People are like, what? You can't pull that off. It's like, I have these rapper friends, and they make this sound when they're in their songs, and they go, and I can't do that at all. So it's very cringy, and so when I refer to myself as Peasy, Peasy is cringy. It's true. Peasy's cringy. And when I say Peasy, I'm referring to myself. Just to clarify, that's what I'm doing. Is it referring to oneself in third person or referring to oneself in first person? I forget how that works. I'm going to have to check up on that so that I don't sound like an ass as I refer to myself in this fashion. And all the burdens I have, it's not easy being Peasy. It's not entirely easy being me, except that I recognize I have a certain amount of blessings in my life that I just can't complain about. You know, I wake up somber sometimes. I have miserable days. You know, when you have dark feelings and you might even feel like you're on the edge. Not to alarm anyone. It's just like I heard Jordan Peterson once make a comment about how, is it really that bad that you can't make it through one day and wake up feeling better tomorrow? Sometimes feeling better for me, I could be in a really dismal mood. But then if I go and I'm around people, good lighthearted people and having good conversations, then all of a sudden my mood switches and all of a sudden I'm feeling better about whatever it is that was bothering me. Once I'm around good people, it's amazing that uplifting feeling people can have once you get around them. I like that about life, actually. I don't think you'd ever hear Mike from Redbar say that. But honestly, and so I was actually lying in bed this morning. Is it laying or lying? I don't know. That's another thing I need to take the initiative to learn. I was laying in bed this morning thinking about how I want to be distinguished from him, even though I have gratuitously copied him here, and I'm not sorry about it. I'm bringing it up because it's obvious to people who watch, like, oh my God, he totally lifted that TV next to him from Redbar. Yeah, I did. And as the nucleus, as the centerpiece of this entertainment here on CopyWho, I endeavor to be unique in and of myself as I take one of the things I copied. But mine is a crash, and mine is more violent and robust sounding than his. His is like, boom, and mine is, yes, it sounds like disaster. And I love that exclamation on the end of it. But I'm actually way different from Mike in a whole myriad of ways. I aspire to flesh things out intellectually in a way that he can only dream about, because his modus operandi, most of the time, he does have insightful things he's said. I remember insightful things he said about not wanting to make angry content. If you're gonna make angry content, you're gonna be angry all the time. One time from years ago, we're talking like 15 or 20 years ago, he said the statement, sometimes it's time to judge. He was talking about, I'm paraphrasing, but he was talking about judging people for things, you know, in the moral sense. And he said the statement, sometimes it's time to judge. And I agree. Sometimes, you know, someone does something egregious and it's time that we judge them and we not look at it like, oh, you're being petty by judging them. There are all kinds of things people do that are worthy of a negative judgment call about that person, about their moral character, whatever, etc. But anyway, I'm still here aspiring to be intellectually stimulating in ways and about topics. You know, I'm not just going to go and say, this comedian's lame. I'm so much cooler than he is. I would hope to just establish that through my work. In some respects, that's what Mike does. I think it's funny when people call him a failed comedian. I don't look at him as a failed comedian at all. He's not being a comedian. It's just that he's doing what he's meant to do. It would be like saying Howard Stern is a failed comedian and what he does when he's an immense, amazing success. He's doing comedy, but you don't have to get up and be a stand-up comedian. And I'm not knocking comedians at all. I think that's one of the toughest professions out there is to be a comedian. And I was listening to a long clip of Mike last week when he was drunk and being roasted and said all kinds of horrific things that were sensational and over the top, but they were not very clever or funny. I'm amazed that guy can keep going with some of the things he's said, and I wouldn't even repeat them here. It's not even in my character to use certain phrases and verbs or verbiage is the word I'm looking for, to convey something funny, anything funny. It used to be the case. I was inspired by Howard Stern a long time ago, and it used to be the case that one time I heard Howard say, if I'm thinking that I shouldn't say something, that's when I just say it and I blurt it out. And I took that advice to heart, and that was very unwise of me. Over the years, that has caused me so much grief just saying the stupid things in my mind. And there have been many occasions just in these few months doing this where I think of something horrible to say that's ridiculous and over the top, maybe not even clever. And then I forego the inclination to say it because it's just not a good thing to do or say, or it hurts people's feelings. One time my dad told me about doing this. You can say something, but it's crazy, it's over the top, yay, but is it going to help you? Is it going to serve you ultimately to say that horrible thing? If anything, it might hurt you saying something in the future. You know, we are in psychotic world of cancellation, and it may hurt you in the future. I think I got some spittle on here. It may hurt you in the future if you say something stupid. So I don't know. At my age and stage, I try to say fewer things that are stupid to be sensational, and I just try to be interesting. I'm trying to be lighthearted doing this, funny, creative, intellectually stimulating, personal, on some level, sometimes maybe vulnerable, but there are certain topics I can't even talk about because I get so riled up that it becomes, I start behaving disgracefully, and I don't want to be that guy. And what I'm saying right now is earnest. So if you want to make fun of me, that's fine. Anybody can make fun of me. I've done this before. Putting oneself out there is putting oneself at risk. And so be it. That's just the nature of life. All right, then. Yes. I have a whole batch of notes here. But before I begin to discuss that, I want to get into character. Ooh. So I'm going to put those down. And look how tired and wasted my eyes look. No more. Now I'm in character, baby. Now I feel whole right now. I feel one with the universe. Oh, I just saw more spittle fly through here. Did it come up on the camera? I know not that it did. But hey, here we are now. I'm afraid to go up with the brightness on this a little bit because I don't want it to be reflecting in these TVs over here. I'm enjoying the new monitor here. I have more real estate to see what's going on to some extent. And I adjusted some colors in this monitor's image, the new Rise monitor's image, to just point out another thing I stole gratuitously as fuck from Mike, and I don't give a fuck. It's mine now. Dude, you want to fucking do it? Make it better on your end. And you can pick on me all you want. Big fucking deal, dude. You're the one in the position of having to make a living doing this. Look at my lavish hobby here. It's not just a hobby. I hope that if people see it eventually, I will then decide, after perfecting and developing every single solitary little thing, to pursue a path of monetization. That's the ultimate end goal. But right now, I'm just trying to do exceptionally well with the resources that I have to build something creative and interesting around me. And it's already just worlds better than some of the shit on YouTube where people barely produce shit and they have a huge following, okay? It's just a matter of people finding me. But I know if 1 million people were downloading this or subscribed to the channel, it would be much more highly probable that the channel will get deleted eventually because I make offhand comments about things that are verboten. And I know that's the reality. So I am improving the production here, I think. Experimenting with new things. Back here on this bottom one now, I put that same screensaver that these upper TVs have, and I'm seeing how I like that. I did the same with the one down here underneath. You'll see after the Rise how that looks. I have gotten a new camera. Yes, I'm sharing my gear. There are so many asshole producers out there who are like, I'm like, hey, what do you use for this? How do you do that? What's your gear? And they're like, shh, I can't tell you. They're my secrets. They're my trade secrets. But I don't care. I'm trying out this camera. This is a 4K camera, and it hopefully will produce the same size picture here. I'm not a camera expert at all. That's why I use webcams and not DSLRs. I don't want to have to set up a DSLR every single time I turn one on and set all the settings and redo the white balance. What I love about these cameras is you can set some of the settings and save them and turn them on, and you're ready to go. And so if I like what I see here, I have another one of these on the way, and I'm going to hook both of them up here and switch between the two and see how much of a improvement there is visually. And if I like it, I'm going to get 2 or 3 more, and I'm going to place one pointing that way, have a wide angle of the table in case I have someone sitting over there with me. I already have a microphone over there. I'm going to have one on my little birdies here and my little Ronnie James Dio, and it'll be live, and I'll cut to a close shot when I'm doing the rise. All these things I want to do to just make things more dynamic. I mean, like, I don't know, overhead shot, close up to something like right in front of me right here. I don't know. Whatever it is, that is just what I want to do. Alrighty then, that's slick, dude. And I feel very good every time I do that. It's so pre-planned. I guarantee you it's pre-planned. So I'm pouring myself some water. It's kind of early here in the morning. It's 7:59 in the morning. Mountain Standard Time. Right here in a northwest suburb called Westminster in Denver, Colorado, near Denver, Colorado. And so I'm going to put some of this gnarly shit in here because I'm just getting a little bit of a dose of CBD every single day. And it is like the sperm. I wonder, I want to see how is this here. Let's do it from a different angle today, okay? I realize the TV has not come up yet over there. The new Rise TV has not been dealt with yet. I want to be very careful with these elements because I don't like to spill, okay? I don't like to spill, but I want to go like so. And you see the sperm water there. Yes, sir, you do. Look at that. It looks kind of like a mushroom cloud in there. Looks like someone jismed in my aqua. It's water soluble, presumably. I want to try darn hard not to spill it when I stir it around like this. We'll come back here on the front for you. And I'll just go like that a little bit. Gently. Gently. I have a brand new clean flossing mechanism here, and I'm going to use that to stir this. I want to get these little, like the stirring sticks they have in bars. I just don't know where to get those. Could probably order a bundle of them. And then so every little thing is going to be planned on here. So it's kind of gross if you think that I already stuck this in my mouth and that I'm stirring my water with it, but I assure you this one is unused. Now it's been in my mouth. So voila, hello to the sperm water. There's my new camera. It's all moving along. Things are progressing and proceeding as planned. To undermine the new world order, I plant seeds in your mind. Yeah, I like to think that the Chinese model of governance is somehow the prototype for what they have planned for the world to fuck us all over. I say fuck you. Fuck you, New World Order. Good morning to you. I'm in a boisterous mood. I got a good night of sleep last night. It was like all the hours I needed. Okay, I went to bed just a little before 10:30, and I woke up about 6:12. I did wake up in the middle of the night to go pee, and it's a miracle. It's wonderful when I get those hours, and I have neat dreams, and then those dreams, sometimes they stir me up and I can't go back to sleep. But last night I went pee and I came back to bed and I got back to sleep, and momentarily I will tell you about the dream I had last night. But I am watching a lot of Final Cut tutorials to figure out how to efficiently cut clips of what I'm doing and how to enhance the look, because I do have a clip channel on here. I just haven't gotten active with doing that. That's a lot of extra work, and I enjoy the show part of this. I don't like post-production. I like doing things pre-production and then having a final product at the end of this that I can just kind of upload and be done with it. And so, but I am on the path of improving things and making things better here for the people who like it, and to bring new people in, make this more of a community eventually. That is the goal here, to have a fellowship of CopyWho heads. Is that, how about that? CopyWho heads. PZ wants CopyWho heads here, part of the show, part of the community, to engage with me and enrich the environment, kind of like I have had in the past, which I very much like. Last night, I've been looking for overlays that I can use during the live show and on the clips that I make, so that it has a little bit of a finished cutting edge kind of look, with a little sound where it goes like boom, and it shows you links, tells you a little about the show, the information to where to follow on social media and stuff. Improving every little thing. There might be a little more of a dynamic intro to this eventually. Looking forward to all of that. Last night I watched an exceptionally dumb movie. It was entertaining but dumb. And I was inspired to look for a certain movie by my cousin, and I came across this one. This one might have been the one he was talking about, called American Satan. What an amazing movie. Not really. What I did like about it, though, is a lot of it took place in Los Angeles, on the Sunset Strip there where I've been, so I always get excited. I'm like, I love the Sunset Strip. I love the Rainbow Bar and Grill, and I was delighted to see how much of that movie they're actually sitting in booths in the Rainbow Bar and Grill. And I'm just like, oh, goody, it's like I'm there. But the movie was so dumb. It's about how these people are selling their souls to Satan to make it in their band, and they were airheads, and there had to be blood sacrifices, and Malcolm McDowell from Clockwork Orange fame was playing the part of the devil, who brokered this deal with them. There have to be blood sacrifices for sort of every step in the way of becoming more famous. I found it entertaining. There were some good songs in it, and there were some good covers that were like changes in style of certain things. I know that Danzig's song Mother was redone, and it was sung by some woman in this really lighthearted fashion. I was like, ooh, that's very interesting. It made me think I should take a song and like take a heavy metal song and make it beautiful finger picking and sing over it. I've done that with Dio's Holy Diver. I actually ought to hunker down and do a recording of Dio's Holy Diver with me. I have to transpose the key to be lower because I obviously don't have Dio's range. But then I finger pick the progression in a very pretty way, and then I sing it in a very lighthearted fashion. I like doing that. In the past, I've messed around with that, and I really ought to hunker down and get it right. In any case, moving on, Dio is in the Rainbow Bar and Grill. He has pictures in the Rainbow Bar and Grill. It's a wonderful place. I love being there. I'm dying to go back, and every time I think about going back, I'm like, oh my God, how crazy is LA? It was crazy when I was there before the lockdown, and I'm scared with all the migrants coming across the border and all the increase in crime and homelessness. I'm just like scared to go out there because strange things happened when I was out there, and since then things have gotten enormously worse. It's very sad seeing our greatest states conquered. Does not make me happy in the slightest. But moving on, let me tell you about my dream last night before we move to the new rise, which I'm enjoying so much. I'm loving that. I'm not going to sell my soul to the devil for anything I do in life. I'm just going to work hard, do good work, and expect God's blessings to pay out upon me for doing good work. I am not going to do evil things to make it here. And I'm not going to be the world's biggest jerk, which I was in the past in trying to do certain things. And I did make headway. I'm not trying to be Howard Stern here. I am trying to be a little sensational, creative, over the top sometimes, but with certain limitations. Anyhow, let me detail my dream last night where I was sitting having dinner with a group of friends in a seafood restaurant. I had a big red lobster on my plate that was cooked, and it looked good. It looked tasty. There were ladybugs flying all over the place, landing on me, landing on my food. I hated that. And they were biting me, and it hurt. And I was like, fuck you, ladybugs. You do not want to join the league of evil, nasty, gnarly critters that I want exterminated from this world. Critters like spiders, critters like snakes, critters like scorpions, critters like fucking pincher bugs, which I had one right here, and I grabbed it on the last recording I did. And I squealed like a girl. I was like, ah! I squealed like a girl. Not cool. So this is all not part of my dream. I'm digressing, and that's part of the fun of it. I have creative latitude to just digress and go down different paths. Down a long tangent of creativity. My choice, my providence to choose where I go, what I say. So cool. Continuing with the dream. One of the guys I was sitting with was saying that his girlfriend wanted him to buy him a $900 dress, but he was upset because she was not giving him any sex. And you know what I said? I said, don't buy her the dress. Shit, I'm enjoying. Okay, Peasy's enjoying himself a little bit. Don't buy her the dress. Fuck her. I didn't say that in my dream, but I need to make the story a little bit more interesting. I said, don't buy her the dress. That's true. And I said, if you buy her the dress and she's not giving you sex, brother, you're simping. True story. I had this dream. I'm just spicing it up. So if we were to film this scenario in real life, I would make it more like the exaggerated form. I love the way that dreams can inspire a certain, storyline. And you could bring that storyline to life. I could totally imagine filming a film short with this and just drawing some dialogue out and filming it with the fucking ladybugs. Fuck you, ladybugs. I don't think they bite in real life, but in my dream they were biting and they hurt. So fuck them. They're in the league of creepy crawlers now with me. They look pretty. They're deceptive because they're pretty little things. I do like the ladybugs. The ladybugs are cute, but I guess they can infest. They can be so plentiful when they take hold somewhere in a certain environment that could be really fucking annoying. I rather like my disposition this morning. I rather like the way I look. I rather like the way I'm feeling. I hope that the power stays on so that this doesn't just drop dead and I lose this recording. And I hope that thunder doesn't create a surge to destroy my gear. All these things are on my mind because we have clouds. And when I asked Siri, I said, hey, Siri, shut up. Hey, Siri, why are you such a bitch?
I won't respond to that.
Of course you won't. This fucking bitch, Siri, I'm not going to feel bad about calling Siri a fucking bitch because she used to have more personality. You could interact with this thing and she would have all kinds of witty things she would say. So why did they take the personality out of Siri? I'm asking, Tim Cook, why did you remove the personality from Siri? Do you want me to feel more alone, you bastard? I'm in that strange mood right now. And it's not that I'll never be serious and talk seriously about things and get in that tone where I'm like conveying seriously and you'll be able to discern that I'm speaking seriously. I'm being silly right now. It's the beginning of my day, and what a good way to start out the day, to be lighthearted and jovial. And we just enjoy ourselves. I don't have any more really about the dream. Woo! And so certain things are getting better. I tell you what. And I do enjoy what I am doing. And it's the story of my life to do my very best with these things. We're going to just go bibbity, bobbity, boo. Rise. Rise, my lovey. Ladybugs are now persona non grata in my life. They join with all the spiders and the creepy crawlers. This moment is supposed to be like a blood sacrifice without the blood, where we curse certain things. and we say, fuck the ladybugs! I swear. You're beautiful, but if you're gonna bite me and you're gonna hurt, I'm just not gonna let you have your way with me, you stupid ladybugs! Yes, sir! The new rise. It's going so well. It's going so well. I'm so grateful for myself last Sunday when I decided to make this video mix on here. It's just elevating the whole thing in my opinion, and I noticed that I don't like watching the old shows as much as the new shows except to see how far I've come with all the little things that I'm doing. I genuinely love all the new. Let's come back here and turn all these lights back on to enjoy every little step of what we are doing. Abu. Oh, what are you doing? Back out of that. The rise today was fun. I suppose I say that every day. It's redundant. Try to do something a little bit different each time. And now I turn the screen of my phone off so that I'm not distracted by the light on it because I don't have anything else planned. Although I suppose it would be nice to be able to go to flashing lights at a moment's notice. I could, but that would make my battery go dead. And now that I've returned Facebook to my phone, the battery goes dead so much faster than before. Do you know that happens? So I noticed it's like all of a sudden I put Facebook on my phone and my battery's like way less. And not because Facebook uses more battery in and of itself. It's that I'm on my phone wasting time on Facebook a lot more. And it's not, I have extremely few people on my Facebook profile now that I'm friends with. And a few of them certainly are real friends. And few of them are acquaintances that I do hope to one day say, that's a friend. Nice people, I must say, though. Even though I'm saying they're acquaintances, it's not meant to offend them. I'm saying let's get to know one another more. And then eventually we can say that we are friends, and that's always a lovely thing to have friends in life. You can never have too many good friends. Let's get to know one another. Fellow producers, fellow creator minds, all of the above. I do love to meet people. I do love to meet new people. What do I have on my list next? Okay, so this is what I wanted to talk about last time, but I was not able to, you see, because my stupid computer was not set up yet properly. So we move this over here for you, okay? And then we move to this right here where you can see it very clearly. Rian Stone tweeted out some rubbish. I call it out as rubbish. I call you out, sir. It's my shtick. You don't do half the shtick I do. It's what I want to do. It's what I want to do to be silly, to be therapeutic. I have the adrenaline coursing through my veins right now. There will be intellectual moments when I'm serious. And there will be silly moments like now when I'm like, whatever the fuck, okay? So, Rian Stone tweeted out the fastest way to get a legacy. Number 1, fuck the first girl who lets you, but only when she's ovulating. Okay, sure, dude. Already, that sounds like you're bullshitting me a little bit. Number 2, grow a beard. I try. And I guess I have normal testosterone levels. I learned that last week from my blood test. And it's a darn shame that I have pretty good testosterone levels. And I can grow a little something, but it's not big and thick. I want to be able to grow a big, thick, manly beard. I want that testosterone to be like, whoa! But it's not like that with me. So really, he's insulting my testosterone level now. Damn you, Rian! Dude, forgive me. I do shtick. That's what I do here. And I could totally see how it's going to rub people the wrong way. And some people, somehow they might connect with my special, unique, weird something. Onward. Number 3, buy flannel. Flannel? I think I know what he means by flannel. I think I had flannel shirts in college when I was somewhat of a hippie. Still have some of that original hippie spirit, I think. Anti-establishment, screw the man type deal. Photograph your kids. Number 4, photograph your kids and use them to move merch. Is that like Matt Walsh he's picking on right there? Sure does seem like it. What does he call them? Fuck trophies? That's a harsh... It's a very harsh label to put on a man. So some men like to put their kids out there because they're just so delighted they have kids. You can't necessarily understand it until you have kids. And you're like, I just want the whole world to know I have these beautiful kids and I love them. It's not always just to garner clout, I don't think. But in the case of Matt Walsh, you never know. He's very famous. And considering the controversial nature of the things Matt Walsh talks about, he should not necessarily be putting his kids out there. He's making himself and his kids a target for ridicule by doing that. And so I happen to agree with Rian Stone when he picks on Matt Walsh for putting his kids out there. The bigger I am, the less likely I would be to want to put my kids in that limelight and have them receive some kind of unwarranted, undeserved scrutiny for what daddy does. Number 5, the fastest way to get a legacy: complain about pedos and drag queens drinking beer. I don't know. I'm not going to go anywhere with that one. It's just, it's playing off of what's happening in society recently with the Bud Light controversy and Dylan Mulvaney and whatever. I don't drink Bud Light, except I suppose I would if I went back to binge drinking for a while. Sometimes I'm on and off with that. It's been since 2019 when I was last drinking. Hopefully I'm not going to go back to that. I got my prostate results back. PSA test was 1.48. Can you believe that? Kudos to me. It's in a good range. I'm really proud of that because I do believe not drinking and the exercise I do contribute to that. In 2008, when I last took one, it was 1.9. So it's gone down a little bit. It's a good sign when it goes down. For those of you who don't understand what the hell I'm talking about, never mind. Let's move on. The fastest way to get a legacy, number 6, hate on the guys who bullied you in high school. I already do that. There's some people. So what I tweeted out was, that's bait. That's bait. Because the other day, Rollo and Ryan were saying they like to bait retards, and I realized when Ryan tweeted this out, he was not to be taken 100% seriously, and I was like, hey, that's bait. And so I actually went to the GIF feature on here, and I said, bait. I put bait in the search field, and this is what I came up with, and I can't remember what movie. This might be the Road Warrior. Is that what that is? I don't know if that's what that is. Let's keep going here. So 4 people liked my tweet. Who liked my tweet? Rian Stone liked my tweet. Thank you, sir. Rian Stone throwing the sunshine on me. Thank you, sir. That's so sweet of you. I'd be so much more honored if you'd actually follow me on there because you see some redeeming qualities in what I do, whether the humor or what I might be able to add intellectually to the topics that you so masterfully flesh out online for all of our benefits, except for when you're just baiting people with bullshit, like in this tweet here, for instance. Be all that as it may, it's time for me to move on from this. I will come here, and I will close out of that, and I will bring you back to here. I like all these moves. They make me feel more special when I just have a special order for every single thing, and I'm so darn silly and good at what I do. But I could totally imagine that even people who love me are like, God, you are so fucking idiosyncratic when you do that shit that you do on your show. I think that was appropriate, even though it was the mistake. God, you are so idiosyncratic when you do those annoying things that you do on your show. I'm also getting a Stream Deck here. I have ordered a Stream Deck and it's on its way, and we'll see how I integrate that in here. It might be that I can switch the cameras much more easily than what I'm doing. Anything to make the routine easier to switch cameras at certain times, because it's really tricky. I've been mixing the camera on here with a mouse, but it's not too bad between 2 cameras. Once I have 3 to 5 cameras all operating at once, that's going to get more tricky. So hopefully I'll be able to do it just with probably my left hand right here. Or I don't know. What I like about this is sometimes my hand's off screen like that, and you can't even tell when I go like this. You're like, hey, someone's doing that. It's me. It's me with this fucking mouse right here. Oh, man. Do I go down paths of rubbish? Let's see. The next one here is a comment. This lady on Twitter. I will come over here. I'll bring you to it really quick. Whee! Over here, and I will bring you back to this window where you can see it very clearly. I like that. And so I recall hearing some of what this woman was saying and thinking, I agree with what she's saying. And so I want to re-listen to this. So actually, someone posted her and commented, "Make men godly again. Reject this demonic red pill agenda that wants you to become a sodomite." Full video on my... Okay, I don't know that that expresses the idea in a way that I can fully understand what the hell she's saying. 31.3K views. And so Rollo retweeted her and said, "Well, I can only think of one guy in the sphere who's into trannies, but you'd have to ask Valuetainment and Pearly Things about him." I don't know what he's referring to there, but I thought what this woman was saying was interesting. So I'm going to blow this up. I'm going to take you over here, and we're going to listen to it right now.
I don't know how long it's going to be till all you red pill, incel, manosphere guys.
All guys, red pill guys, are certainly not incel guys. So, but she just like blends these things together. Honey, they're not the same thing, okay? A lot of red pill guys are the exact opposite of incel. So I'm thinking you don't even know what you're talking about with the usage of your words.
Or like banging trannies and being like full-fledged gay boys, but I think you're like getting kind of close, so you need to reel it in a little bit.
I don't know.
Just
what are you talking about?
And get into your Bible, understand what your position is as a man, and if you're worried about women screwing you over, ask God to give you discernment and pick the right kind of women, and then you have nothing to worry about, because if you're in God's will, He's never going to steer you wrong.
No, I agree. God will not steer you wrong, but if you discern incorrectly, you're, I mean, like, so I don't know God how God is going to guide the inherently stupid people. And what she's saying, the first half of that was rubbish because she's using words that she's misunderstanding the definition of those words. And the second half, I agree with her advice, except that, I don't know, how's God going to help someone stupid discern? Those people need to pray for the brains to have the proper discernment, I think. Everybody makes mistakes in discernment, judgment calls, okay? Because we're like intuitive when it comes to discerning what God wants us to do, and we're not, it's not just obvious. God's not like coming down and talking to me directly. It's this feeling I have in my heart about right and wrong, and that is how I discern. But, so, yeah, it's... I don't know. I don't even know entirely what she's saying, but I found that entertaining, and I wanted to bring that up. So what's next on my list here? Okay, we keep moving through. Where are we time wise? 37 minutes. Boy, these things. I move through this show. I enjoy myself, and I move through it. It's fascinating how I move through it. Okay, I don't think I'm going to talk much about this one, but I am.
Hey, it's Tucker.
Whoa. Whoa, you hold on, Buster. Can you tell who that is? It's going to be Tucker Carlson. And I like him. I'm a fan of Tucker because I think he's woken up, and he gives AJ from IW a lot of credit for the waking up that he has done. I will play a little bit of this, and the point I'm making is about how people gloated that he was fired from Fox News, and now he's getting huge numbers on his Twitter. And it's like... people go directly to him, and he doesn't even have the boss. Like Elon Musk is letting him have carte blanche on here, and I'm liking that very much. So what is Tucker saying here?
Hey, it's Tucker Carlson. You often hear people say the news is full of lies.
Yes.
But most of the time, that's not exactly right.
Almost
Much of what
always.
you see on television or read the New York Times is, in fact, true in the literal sense. It could pass one of the media's own fact checks. Lawyers would be willing to sign off on it. In fact, they may have. But that doesn't make it true. It's not true. At the most basic level, the news you consume is a lie of the stealthiest and most insidious kind.
Oh, yeah, stealthy.
Facts have been...
Dude, I've been saying all the time lately that so much of the truth right now is not in plain sight. People aren't seeing it. It's cloaked. It's like cloaked. It's like there's Harry Potter. He's covered in a cloak and you can't see him, but he's there. And so I'm extremely worried at the deception we're living through in society right now, and people don't even get it. People are being led to slaughter, and they're just like, it's a normal day. I'm doing what I do, and we're very jeopardized right now. But carry on.
Withheld on purpose, along with proportion and perspective. You are being manipulated. How does that work? Let's see. If I tell you that a man has been unjustly arrested for armed robbery, that is not, strictly speaking, a lie. He may have been framed. At this point, there's been no trial, so no one can really say. But if I don't mention the fact that the same man has been arrested for the same crime...
yeah, we know what he's referring to here. I think it's the dude who was choked out on a subway in New York City, the Michael Jackson impersonator.
...times before. Am I really informing you? No, I'm not. I'm misleading you. And that's what the news media are doing
all the time.
Every story
that's
that
what they're
matters
doing all the time, and everybody fears that you're pointing out the fucking truth here. Why do people fear the truth? This is what I've been asking myself today. Why are people scared of the truth, and why are people scared of free conversations and exchanges of ideas? Why? Why are you more afraid of that than like real truth? Truth bomb right here. Crash. There could be a nuclear war. Do you understand the gravity of that? That's where you should be afraid. There could be a financial fucking meltdown. There are people rushing across the border, huge masses of people rushing across the border. All these things threaten us, and they're always making up reasons why it's not happening, pretending why it's not happening, pretending like they're doing something against it when in fact they're enabling it. All these things are very important to have out there in the marketplace of ideas. And so what are people afraid of by having these real honest conversations? Why do people hate and fear so much what Tucker Carlson says? It drives me nuts when people call him racist, because I personally... So I know people jump to conclusions, say silly things, think silly things. I've never heard Tucker Carlson say anything that was even remotely racist. The same is true with AJ from IW. Never heard it. Never. Never once have I ever gotten any indication that there's any racism there whatsoever. But you hear people throw that out there because they've heard someone else say it, and yet if you say to them like, hey, can you tell me one single solitary racist thing he has said or done? Just give me one example. And they're like, and very often the response you get back from people is, I don't want to talk about this. I'm done with this conversation. I'm leaving now. And they make a beeline and walk away. And so that's very disturbing that people will throw something very serious and harmful out there by saying racist, and they will not say something meaningful and substantive to give a real example to back up what they're saying. Don't fucking say racist unless you can back it up. That's what I'm saying.
Day of the week, every week of the year. What's it like to work in a system like that? After more than 30 years in the middle of it, we could tell you stories.
Tell us.
The best you can hope for in the news business at this point is the freedom to tell the fullest truth that you can. But there are always limits. And you know that if you bump up against those limits often enough, you will be fired for it.
Who'd that happen to, Tucker? It happened to you, okay? So I don't want to finish this. My point is not to critique this whole video, but it's to point this out about this. This is what I think is fascinating about this, all right? Let me move up here. Since this was released yesterday at 2:42 p.m., it's been over 16, 17 hours. This registers with 91.8 million fucking views. Boom! That's fucking amazing to me, okay? Amazing, amazing, amazing. No, actually, the video says it's had 20 million views. What I was looking at this morning demonstrated a different metric. I'm wondering, why do I see it differently? Let me look on my phone really quick. This is showing a different metric as I was looking at it yesterday. I want to come here on Twitter and go straight to Tucker, because the metrics in here are different. It's saying 91.8 million views, I assume. And oh, that's different. Why did it change? Because I took a screenshot of this. I don't know how or why it changed. Ooh, are we being deceived? It said okay, yeah. 20 million views. It's had more than 1 million views since I looked at it in the last hour when I was on the toilet. Now it has 20 million views. And when it says 91, where it says 91 point, where are we? I'm losing my shit, people. Where it says 91.8 million views, I believe those are just exposures out there, and it's been viewed 20 million times. That's extraordinary numbers. That's like enormously much bigger than what he was getting on his evening primetime show. And so he's a powerhouse compared to Fox News now. And so what I kept thinking about was all these people gloating. I know somebody who tweeted out or put out on Instagram a picture of him. It was like he's fired. And then you swipe to the picture of my friend who was like celebrating with a very big happy smile on her face that he was fired. And it's like, well, look at this now. How do you feel about this? He's bigger now, much bigger now than he was when he was on Fox News. The whole firing brought sensationalism to him, and now his truth is bigger, better, and more powerful than it was before. And so I'm just pointing that out to people. He's reaching much more in virtue of what's happened. It reminds me of when Obi-Wan was struck down in Star Wars. It's like when you get struck down, sometimes you become like 1,000 times more powerful. And Elon Musk is behind this guy now. He's going to start a show here on Twitter, and I'm telling you, I think it's going to be huge. And then so I heard Brian Stelter, fucking potato head meat puppet from CNN, saying, like, who's going to police Tucker Carlson on Twitter? Elon Musk sure isn't going to do it, duh. And I'm mocking him. I can't stand Brian Stelter. He's jealous. He's like, he's irrelevant and he's on the way out. And I'm not trying to be mean-spirited to the person, but he is a career fucking meat puppet, liar, henchman, minion, and he's so it's hard for me, with the way I value truth, objective truth. I can't stand someone like Brian Stelter. Makes me fucking feel repulsed, to be perfectly honest with you. My head itches. I want to get new, so I'm actually gonna come over here and I'm gonna close out of this. I made the points I want to make about that. What is next on my agenda? I want to get new ear thingamajigs. Okay, very briefly, I'll take you here to a clip of this dude who's called Become the Night. He's a musician who's got a very popular thing going on YouTube, and they were having a discussion that was kind of interesting. This is a big change of gears in here, and I will come to number 2 and go, oh, I'm mixing like a pro today. Do you know that? Like every day, sometimes I make little mistakes here and there. So here's this fella. They're having an interesting conversation that I related to a little bit. Let's just start it out.
To complement that, to be the one to choose who that person is that's going to do that for you. And they have to be like, you cannot feel like you're the smartest or most talented person in the room.
That's my biggest problem. Yeah. I mean,
I hate feeling that way too. I'm so bored when I feel that way.
I can tell you, and I'm not saying this arrogantly, when I was younger, I felt like I was the most intelligent or talented person when I was around certain people, and I wasn't impressed. But then as I got older, I realized a lot of that was just hubris on my part, and I was mistaken. And so some of these guys are being... So yes, I, in fact, do like to be around people who are exceptionally talented, and people who inspire me to do more myself, honestly. So in this community, this podcasting community, I know I brought up Mike from Redbar. Whatever, I don't care. He's a mention whore, and so he loves when people utter his name. I have been inspired by him because out there are aspects of what he's doing that are like a huge metric above all the rest. And so I've looked to Mike in the past, sort of like a guide for how he's doing certain things, and not with personal character, let me tell you, because the man is really fucked up. Got to knock you while I compliment you, Mike, because you really are fucked up in certain respects. But I'm giving you all the credit in the world for your immense talent. And so I am not merely a Redbar clone, although, yeah, obviously I took shit tons from you with what I do. And let's continue with what they're saying here, because I don't have much time before I hit an hour.
It's the most boring feeling to feel like you're the best.
Yeah, you want to be the dumbest. I want the best people out there because Lord knows I'm not, and
yeah, that's how I feel.
But we have to know I think you have to know your blind spots.
Yeah.
Yes, it's massive.
Imagine having that. Like, imagine all these kids in music nowadays who are coming up as, they call them bedroom producers, with how good technology and recording DAWs have gotten. One of the things that has destroyed the recording industry is just laptops with DAWs and great amp sims and drum programming libraries and all these things. And
so what I related to in this was, my own personal experience was that in the late 90s, I was already on the path to recording. It was like 1995 when I went and bought a 4-track, and it wasn't long after that I went and bought an 8-track. And then in the late 90s, my dad helped me buy a computer where I could record 16 tracks on the computer, and it was early rudimentary computing. It was like a Pentium 2 computer, 233 megahertz. Very fucking paltry compared to what we have today. What we have today can do practically anything. I was one of the first people to have a computer and record music with it, at least in my sphere. Like, I didn't know anyone else that was doing that for an extremely long time. And I owe my dad, and that was like, I was bringing this up to him recently, like how it's led me down this creative path. When I bought the 4-track, it was like $550. I went and I just bought it because I was like, I need to record guitar, and it's like totally like it makes you better. So I was like, I need to buy it. I'm dying to be better at guitar. And so I went and bought it for $550, and I was like, Dad, I bought this. He's like, what? You can't go do that. And I'm like, I need this. And so I showed him what I recorded with it, and I was like, put these headphones on and listen to what I recorded with it. And he's like, oh my God. It's like he turned around in 1 second when he heard what I created. It was like immediately the light bulb went on in his head that he wanted to feed my creativity, and that was awesome. And that's my personal experience with it. And so he kept feeding my creativity all the way to the point where I got going on a computer, recording music, and realizing eventually that I could create radio content with it as well. And I got so inspired by Howard Stern, and I splintered off doing podcasting early on, and it was really a special creative path that I've been on. Even though I haven't become madly commercially successful or anything, this producer skill of mine has evolved and it's grown. And so these guys give me a sense of it's like acknowledgement of I've had my own path and I'm relating to what they're saying. I could actually be a part of the conversation here, and I think add value to it, which is what I hope I'm doing right now. And I've had conversations with friends who are in the creative realm about how these tools changed the whole dynamic of the industry and blurred the lines of how you become famous, who determines you're famous. The internet did that too, and it's been extraordinary in some ways, good in some ways, bad in other ways. Let's keep going.
And so now, like, innovation. Yeah.
Time is running out on me. Why do I limit myself to an hour? I just love that hour.
Innovation does that.
Yeah, but it's good and bad.
Yes.
It's a trade-off. There are positive
100%
facets to that and negative ones. And it's just...
Carry on.
Where was I going with this?
Those kids coming up probably thinking they're the shit.
They're hit producers.
But imagine...
In some cases, you're going to get American Idol syndrome where people think they're great at what they're doing and they're not. I had hubris when I was younger, but I do like to look back at my recordings. Now I look at them and think how shitty they sound, but there's still really some character there in the quality of the songs I was arranging and putting together. They could have been produced better, but so you're going to have some kids who really are able to run with it and do great work with it, and you're going to have some kids who think they're great and they're not even close to great.
God, because it's so easy to release music. It's so easy to produce and record and mix it. Not necessarily well, but
you don't actually really need to know much about the physics or the math of any of it anymore.
I don't agree.
Yeah,
no, dude. It doesn't do it all for you. Excuse me. You have to learn the stuff to really get the final product to sound good and refined, and it takes special steps and it takes patience. Above and beyond the creativity of the song, there are some of the producing aspects that are tedious, I mean, I've had to mix things 13, 15 times before I was satisfied. And so it doesn't just automatic AI produce 5 ideal different types of mixes, enhance this and that one. I wonder if AI will be able to mix and master things eventually based upon the instructions of what I'm looking for. That would be very interesting. And I don't know how I'd feel about that, because then somehow the artistic process is being put into the hands of something else, not even a person. And so you get to where it really becomes cheating at some point. And I think that's the point that Becoming the Night Man is. I should know his name because I watch him all the time. The other dude here is very funny.
On the front end.
And imagine with how many kids like in their teens are coming up and doing all this themselves and putting out onto releasing music on Spotify, level playing field that it might not be. It's imagine having the kind of emotional maturity that we're discussing that's necessary for you to become the best version of yourself at that age. And the level to
that is a coming of age moment when you realize your potential. Like somewhere around 21 when I woke up and I went, "Oh my God, if I put in effort, I can be really good at these things." Because when I was a young teenager, I did not have the realization. I didn't have the confidence or the realization that I can be good at something. I didn't even realize at the time when I would noodle on piano or have good pitch singing that I was actually good at these things. And so sometimes you reach a point as a young adult where all of a sudden your confidence catches up to your ability, and then you take off, you hit the ground running.
Is saturated by younger kids doing that. And
it's hubris.
I mean, definitely a recipe for like the majority of things coming out in certain genres, the genres that lean younger, like metal, just all sounding the same and all being worse. And productions that sound like an arrangement.
It really takes a special personality. Here's a guy doing a show called CopyWho, and I've just been admitting all day who I'm copying, why I'm copying him. But I'm trying to inch further into the endeavor to become better myself, and that's what everyone has to do. So that's why hair metal bands in the 80s, there were just a dime a dozen, and none of them sounded special or interesting or different or groundbreaking. That's why I love Seattle, what came out of Seattle and laid waste to the hair bands of the time. My contemporaries, my Goombas, my favorite people, because my contemporaries, like Chris Cornell, I consider a contemporary. Lane Staley, Jerry Cantrell. Who else? Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan. Love these contemporary artists big time. It just feels more like, they're not Pink Floyd classic rock. Those were before my era, but they still influenced me. They maintained amazingly beautifully, but I just love this subject matter here, what these guys are talking about. You got to pioneer whatever it is. You got to fucking pioneer what you're doing. You have to think of, how can I distinguish myself? And you have to be obsessive about it and be so fucking totally determined that it fucking eats you up night and day how to be better. I go to bed thinking about what I'm doing right here, how to make it better. One tiny little this or that better, and trying to improve it every single day, not just 1%, but as much as I possibly can when I'm thinking about it. And so the other day I got off here, I changed these graphics, I modified them, I put that screensaver down there, and I'm just like, it's just a little bit better. I love that a little better now, I think. Instead of having the different screensaver, it's all consistent behind the new Rise TV now. It's just an example of, like, make it better, make it better, make it better. And I do go to Mike, and I look at what he's doing, and I think about how I can apply it to myself in my own original way. Not just to gratuitously take it all from him. And to be myself doing this. For fuck's sake, FFS. Okay? You get what I'm saying? The last line in this, I'm going to play this because I thought it was like,
mess, because it's a guitar player, and it's 13 guitars at once.
It's almost always a guitar player.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yes, and so...
Always.
That was a clip from the...
Yeah, so that's amusing. Guitar has been a creative tool that opens up a lot of doors for people. I know that is what did it for me. So you're having a problem. Agree you need to take it back just to tell them, the others have had issues. That's the point of this. Okay, yeah, never mind. Wanted to see if that was a comment about my own personal stuff. So I'm at 59:30 now. I did not expect that. I have 2 more videos here. What am I going to do? I'm going to push them off until next time. And I'll get to them earlier in the fucking conversation of the new show. And so what I want to do is wrap this up right now. I had fun today. I expended lots of good energy this morning. I felt creative. When I watch this back, it'll be interesting to see how I feel about it compared to when I was actually doing it. Not ashamed to say that I'm copying Mike on a lot of things, but trying to make it my own thing, my own fresh thing. Say what you want, Mike. Say what you want. You don't scare me. I'm afraid of your little minions, what they'll do, because you attract some strange kids. I'm like insulting the Scars Club. If you like what you see here, like the video, subscribe. Engage with me. Peace be with you all. Woo! I copy who, I copy you. I copy who, I copy you.